You are standing in the pharmacy aisle. There are at least 12 different whitening products in front of you. Different brands, different price points, different claims. Professional effects, advanced vivid white, gentle routine, express, sensitive, clinical white, zero peroxide, maximum strength. Some have blue light devices in the box. Some say no sensitivity. Some say results in 3 days. Some say ADA accepted. Most don't say anything about the concentration of the active ingredient. The boxes all show the same thing, a before and after photograph of a smile that went from slightly yellow to blindingly white, apparently in the time it took to read the label. You're looking at a billion-dollar marketing exercise designed to make you feel like all of these products are different, while making it almost impossible to understand how they actually differ. This episode is going to decode that aisle. By the end of it, you will understand exactly what separates a whitening strip that works from one that barely does anything, what the ADA seal actually means and which products have earned it, and why the best whitening option available to most people is not even a strip at all. The one thing that actually matters. Before you can compare any whitening product, you need to understand the single variable that determines how well it works: the active ingredient concentration. Every legitimate whitening product, from the cheapest drugstore strip to the most expensive in-office treatment, works through the same chemical mechanism: hydrogen peroxide or carbamide peroxide, which breaks down into hydrogen peroxide, penetrates through the enamel, and oxidizes the chromophore molecules responsible for the color of the tooth. The more hydrogen peroxide that reaches the tooth, the faster and more dramatically it whitens. The higher the concentration, the more hydrogen peroxide is available. The longer the contact time, the more the peroxide can do its work. That is the entire science of whitening. Concentration times contact time equals result. Everything else, the shape of the strip, the flavor of the gel, the presence or absence of a blue LED device, the font on the box, is secondary to those two numbers. Here's what the market looks like when you sort it by what actually matters. The drugstore tier. This is the category that contains the most choices, the most confusing marketing, and the widest range of real-world effectiveness. Crest 3D White Strips dominates this tier and has for 2 decades. It is the most widely used whitening strip product in the world, the most studied by independent researchers, and the most frequently recommended by consumer review outlets in 2026. The professional effects version is ranked best overall OTC whitening product by multiple independent reviewers and carries the ADA seal of acceptance, a meaningful distinction that requires independent evaluation of both safety and efficacy claims. The active ingredient is hydrogen peroxide at a concentration that varies by product line. The classic version contains roughly 6%. The advanced vivid line runs around 8%. The professional effects, the strongest over-the-counter strip Crest produces, uses approximately 14% hydrogen peroxide equivalent. The treatment time is 30 minutes daily for 20 days. At roughly $45 for a 20-day course, the professional effects version represents the best cost-to-effectiveness ratio in the strip-only category. The research behind it is real. The ADA seal is not given to products that do not pass independent review. And for mild to moderate extrinsic staining on healthy teeth, it produces measurable 2 to 5 shade improvement over the 20-day course. Then there is Lumineux, which occupies a specific niche in this tier that is worth understanding. It is peroxide-free, completely. The active whitening in Lumineux products comes from plant-based oils and other non-peroxide ingredients. A 2023 randomized controlled trial comparing a peroxide-free plant oil regimen to a hydrogen peroxide strip found that the hydrogen peroxide group achieved greater overall color change, but the plant oil group showed significantly better tolerability and zero sensitivity. Lumineux also carries the ADA seal of acceptance, making it one of only a handful of peroxide-free oral care products to have earned it. If sensitivity has prevented you from whitening before, this is where you look. If you want maximum whitening effect, the hydrogen peroxide options in this tier will outperform it. Here's what nobody tells you about the drugstore tier, though. The strips are the weakest delivery system for the active ingredient. They sit flat against the tooth surface and rely on an adhesive gel layer to maintain contact. Saliva dilutes the gel at the margins. The strip does not conform perfectly to the contours of every tooth. Gel coverage is uneven. Contact time with the active ingredient is shorter and less consistent than the product's stated wear time suggests because the gel begins to dilute from the moment it is placed. You are paying for the most accessible format. You are not getting the most effective one. The bridge tier, where the real difference is. In between drugstore strips and a full dental appointment, there is a category that most consumers do not know exists, and that consistently outperforms strips in head-to-head comparisons. Opalescence Go is the most frequently cited example and the one most clearly supported by clinical evidence. It is made by Ultradent, a dental products company that supplies whitening materials to dental offices. Opalescence Go is not a strip. It is a pre-filled disposable tray, a ultra-fit tray that adapts to the shape of your individual teeth within seconds of insertion, and holds the whitening gel in consistent contact with the entire tooth surface, not just the flat front. The active ingredient is hydrogen peroxide at either 10 or 15% concentration, depending on the product tier selected. At the 15% concentration, that is stronger than Crest Professional Effects. The tray design maintains more uniform gel-to-tooth contact than any strip format. Saliva is largely excluded from the treatment area because the tray creates a soft seal at the margins rather than relying on an adhesive strip edge. The formula includes potassium nitrate and fluoride, the same desensitizing and enamel protective agents used in professional dental office whitening protocols, alongside the active peroxide. The wear time at 10% concentration is 15 to 20 minutes. At 15%, it is 60 to 90 minutes. A course of 10 trays typically produces 2 to 6 shade improvement. Independent reviewers in 2026, including Forbes and multiple dental-focused publications, rated Opalescence Go as the best overall whitening kit when factoring in effectiveness, sensitivity management, and value relative to professional treatment. What it costs: roughly $40 to $60 for a package of 10 trays, comparable to 2 boxes of Crest Professional Effects for a first course. What it does differently: the tray format. It is the single most important variable in whitening product effectiveness below the level of professional treatment, because it determines how consistently the gel contacts the tooth surface and how well the treatment area is protected from saliva dilution. A clinical trial published in a peer-reviewed journal found that conventional at-home whitening using custom or professional-grade trays showed significantly improved color change compared to OTC strip-based and gel systems, with higher whitening efficiency and substantially better color stability over time. Opalescence Go is as close as an over-the-counter product gets to that standard. The professional tier, the option most people skip here, is the insider knowledge that the drugstore aisle does not want you to reach. A dentist-prescribed, custom-fitted take-home whitening tray is not the same thing as an in-office whitening treatment. It is a different product at a different price point that in multiple, head-to-head studies achieves comparable final results to the dramatically more expensive in-office procedure. Here's how it works. You see your dentist for a brief consultation and a cleaning. The dentist takes an impression or digital scan of your teeth. A custom-fitted tray is fabricated from that impression. A tray that fits the exact contours of your teeth with a space built in specifically to hold the gel in the right position. You receive a professional-grade carbamide peroxide gel, typically at 15 to 35% concentration, which breaks down to deliver roughly 5 to 11% active hydrogen peroxide over the course of the wear period. You wear the trays at home, typically for 1 to 2 hours daily or overnight, for 2 to 4 weeks. The result: 4 to 8 shade improvement on average. Independent clinical evidence consistently places this option above OTC strips and Opalescence Go for total shade change and color stability over time. A study published in the journal Animated Teeth found that overnight use of a custom at-home tray system created the most effective tooth whitening of any method tested. 2 weeks after in-office treatment, even OTC products had achieved comparable results. But the custom tray outcome had started higher and stayed higher. The cost: between $200 and $500, depending on the practice and the market. Custom trays are usually reusable for years, with only gel refills needed for maintenance courses. The gel refills typically cost between $20 and $60 per course. Compare this to Crest Professional Effects used 3 times a year at $45 per course. $135 annually in strips, with results that the clinical literature consistently describes as less durable and less uniform than the custom tray approach. The custom tray is more effective. It is more durable. It uses a higher concentration of the same chemistry. It fits your specific teeth rather than a generic tooth shape. And when you factor in the reusable tray and the cost of gel refills over time, the cost per shade of improvement is considerably lower than the cumulative cost of annual OTC strip courses. The industry does not advertise this comparison. The drugstore aisle exists to make you believe that what is available there is the relevant category. The dentist prescribed custom tray is not in the drugstore aisle. The answer, hiding in plain sight. If you came to this episode looking for someone to tell you which strip is best, you have the answer. But if you came here looking for the actual best whitening option available to you, the one that the research consistently identifies as most effective, most durable, most evenly delivered, and most cost-efficient over time, it is not in the pharmacy aisle. It is in a conversation with your dentist that takes 15 minutes, produces a set of custom trays that will last for years, and delivers a result that the drugstore version will spend months trying to match. The insider knowledge is not which brand of strip to buy. The insider knowledge is that the strip is not the best answer. So here's the question worth leaving in the comments. If a dentist-prescribed custom tray consistently outperforms every strip on the market, costs less over time, and lasts for years, why did nobody tell you that was an option before today? If this channel is telling you things the industry prefers to keep quiet, subscribe to Mouth Secrets right now, because the next secret is already waiting.